Damn. Shannon Sharpe is in a lot of trouble, y'all. Shannon Sharpe, at the beginning of this, it just looked like, some OnlyFans girl was trying to shake him down. But as it goes on, it is actually really looking like she intricately put this together in a way where he's going to have to come up off some money one way or another. So, newsflash, Shannon Sharpe is refusing to view the alleged sex tape in this $50 million civil rape lawsuit. Apparently, the tape is real. The tape is out there. Everybody is asking, well, who recorded the tape? Because her accusation is that Shannon at one point recorded her and then without her consent and showed it to his friends. But she has no proof of that. But what we do have now is proof that she secretly recorded her and Shannon having sex. Now, I'm hoping that this get thrown out for this man because I can actually really see how this was put together. So, NFL Hall of Famer and prominent media figure Shannon Sharpe is now facing a $50 million lawsuit that was filed by a woman using the pseudonym Jane Doe. We all know who Jane Doe is at this point. She accused him of rape and coercion during a relationship she claims was non-consensual. Central to the case is a controversial video recording allegedly showing one of those encounters in question. The footage has reportedly been offered for viewing to Shannon Sharpe, who has refused to watch it despite multiple opportunities to watch the video. Now, this must be a very painful part for him. First of all, he is the one who is in a video having intercourse, right? There must be some kind of a law against this because how did she obtain that video? So that in itself is telling on herself that she secretly recorded them in an intimate moment, having intercourse, and has shared it with other people, including her defense team, her lawyers. And now they are giving it to Shannon to watch it, and Shannon says he does not want to watch it. Now, here's a detailed breakdown of the case, key evidence, legal arguments, and the public discourse surrounding this high-profile litigation. Jane Doe, or OnlyFans girl, filed the civil suit earlier this year, asserting that she was subject to repeated sexual assault and manipulation by Shannon Sharpe beginning in 2023 when she was 19 years old. Her legal team contends that Shannon Sharpe exploited a significant power balance or imbalance. He was wealthy, she was not. He was older and more wiser, she was young and naive, using his celebrity and financial influence to dominate and degrade her in a series of non-consensual encounters. Wow. What was she ever kidnapped, picked up from a location, brought to another location against her will? The answer to all those is no. She met with him and they had a relationship going based on her consenting and returning for more of whatever it was they were doing over a lengthy period of time. But this is the cards he has been dealt. So according to the plaintiff, the conduct occurred over several months, causing lasting psychological harm. The suit includes claims for sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and unlawful restraint, among other things. Shannon Sharpe has denied any of these allegations and characterized this relationship as very much so consensual. He argues that the interaction described in the lawsuit were part of a mutual BDSM dynamic involving role play and fantasy scenarios. Now, we know that that's true because we've seen the text messages where she is begging to be tied up and abused, and a dog collar put around her neck, and she wants to be choked and hurt, right? Those were her words. So a pivotal element of this plaintiff case is this video allegedly depicting one of the encounters that is described in the lawsuit, according to the attorney who was defending this young lady who is representing Jane Doe. The video demonstrates a lack of consent, and it is central to the civil claims being pursued. Let me say that again. Follow slowly. The video in question, according to her lawyer, Busby, that video demonstrates a lack of consent. In other words, you can see in the video that she was not consenting and he was having his way. Shannon, of course, has refused to view the video because Shannon probably looks at the video like, damn, I was set up. I was set up. I want you to think about it like this. This woman gets into, or girl at the time, woman gets into a relationship with this man, right? And she's thinking of the bigger picture. She's not thinking of just 25,000 a cheek, losing a bet, and getting breast implants paid for by Shannon Sharpe. She's not thinking about $5,000 here, $5,000 there for his services or her services to him. She's thinking way ahead. She's thinking, if we get into some BDSM, some dominatrix stuff, some breaking the boundaries kind of stuff, like hurt me, daddy, choke me, I want you to force it on me, and I'm going to be saying no, and I still want you to keep going. That was a part of the games they played. However, to the viewing audience, if you're watching a video seeing a man, a big, strong man like Shannon Sharpe, and a little white woman, and he is dominating sexually, having his way, spreading her apart, pinning her down, forcing it onto her, and she is going, no, stop, don't. You're going to look at that video as, oh shit, we're watching non-consensual content, and the accusations are correct. This is why this is dangerous for him. Because although we have text messages that shows that this is something that they regularly engaged in, you don't know how that jury or whoever sees it is going to interpret it, right? Right. So the attorney who's representing her confirms that the video does exist, and the video was viewed in a confidential mediation setting by Shannon Sharpe's legal team. So his legal team has watched him have intercourse with this young lady on tape. But Shannon Sharpe himself has declined repeated invitations to view the tape. He emphasizes that that footage will not be released publicly, but citing both legal and ethical considerations. So the only reason the public knows about this video and that it exists is because Mr. Sharpe brought it up on Instagram, is what Tony Busby said. So they were hoping that Shannon Sharpe would see the video and say, okay, damn, fuck it. Here's the $50 million, right? But here's the thing. Shannon already said, listen, we were into some BDSM stuff, okay? And that's what that video is. I don't need to watch it again because it's a hurtful point because I know what they're trying to use it to do. But these text messages show exactly what that was about. So at no point have we ever threatened to release it, and we will not. It is evidence, nothing more, nothing less, says Busby, the attorney representing Jane Doe. Shannon Sharpe has publicly described the video as a 30-second clip that is designed to make him look guilty. He is asserting that it was taken out of context and it was crafted to play into this damaging racial and sexual stereotype. The big black man dingo ravages The poor little old white lady. Man, they're going to have a field day with this. Legal analysts have taken note that Shannon Sharpe refuses to personally view the video, describing it as a potentially risky decision in a civil case where perception and credibility can significantly impact the outcome. But for Shannon, Shannon has said that that encounter that day lasted about 30, 35 minutes or so. So the video should be about 30 minutes, 35 minutes or so. Where is the rest of the video? Play the whole video. Don't play a edited clip, 30 seconds of a 30-minute video, and try to use that to cause harm to me. You know why you're playing that, right? Now, they're going to have to come up with the rest of that video. And more than likely, I don't think they're going to, if it does not play into their narrative. So although he has no legal obligation to view the footage, his refusal may be viewed unfavorably by a jury, said a Professor Lena Hartwell of Stanford Law School. It may suggest what's called avoidance or unwillingness to confront evidence that could challenge his narrative. Shannon Sharpe's legal team has not publicly elaborated on his refusal. However, individuals familiar with the defense suggest that Shannon Sharpe believes that the clip is misleading and was deliberately recorded to distort the nature of the relationship. Again, while they are trying to do damage to him, anybody with sense is going to ask, who recorded that video? He obviously knows nothing about it. She is in possession of it. So obviously she recorded that video. What was your intent on recording that video? And everything else from there will play out in court, right? So she recorded the video. The question should come into context. Did Mr. Sharpe know that you were recording a sexual encounter with him? Did he give his consent to be recorded in a sexual encounter with you? If the answer is no, then that will work in Shannon's favor. So public reaction to the lawsuit has been shaped not only by the legal filings, but also by Shannon Sharpe's high-profile status and previous controversies. Not only previous controversies, his age difference between him and the Jane Doe. Not only that, their skin colors are race. He is a black man of dark hue, and she is a pale white woman, significantly younger than he is. In September of 2024, Shannon Sharpe mistakenly broadcasted explicit audio of a sexual encounter during an Instagram live session, initially claiming that he was hacked. Shannon Sharpe later admitted that the incident was an accident, citing confusion over the platform's features, which nobody believes because it takes a whole lot to go live on IG. It's not just one click of a button and you're there. So critics have pointed to that episode that his subsequent remarks as evidence of reckless behavior. Supporters argue that it has no bearing on the current case and represents an unrelated personal mistake. Actually, I think that encounter of Shannon where he claims it was a mistake and they accidentally went live, that was a setup. And I think it was fake because the day or so after that, he started doing commercials for these red pills that are supposed to be like an aphrodisiac for men, make you harder, last longer, all this other stuff, better than Viagra, etc., right? So I'm thinking that was a marketing ploy and somebody cut a check for him to do that. So he had to create a publicity around the product first and then go ahead and sell the product, making money. Shannon Sharpe has used his social media platform and appearances on First Take on ESPN to publicly denounce the lawsuit as a baseless attempt to extort him. He has also accused this attorney, Tony Busby, of targeting black public figures, referencing Busby's past cases against athletes, including former NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson, who, by the way, Deshaun Watson had to pay out some money to a whole lot of women. And let's not forget Jay-Z as well. Jay-Z, on the other hand, hired a private investigator, and Jay-Z got that case taken away, got his name removed from that case after proving that Tony Busby was fabricating a story in order to collect money. Right here, I think all his credibility is shot, and it should have went through the window. Matter of fact, for that attempt to include Jay-Z in the Diddy case, telling his client, according to his client, just add Jay-Z in there. He's close friend of Diddy, and he has a lot of money too, etc. That right there should be enough for at least his law license to be suspended temporarily. He is an unscrupulous character, obviously, and he is going after stars because one way or another, there's some money there to be gotten. Now, the woman identified as Jane Doe has kept her identity confidential, but not really, citing concerns of her safety and her mental well-being. Busby maintains that his client came forward not for publicity, but because she believes a grave injustice occurred and she has a right to seek redress through the legal system. Well, she filed as Jane Doe, but that's the first thing Shannon Sharpe did, was expose exactly who Jane Doe was and told us her name on OnlyFans, where to go find her. After that, her face was all over the media. She is not hiding. She is protecting herself, said Tony Busby. This case is about her right to be heard and her right to be believed and her right to justice. Please remember, Shannon also has a right to be heard and a right to be believed and his right to justice as well. The plaintiff is reportedly cooperating fully with legal proceedings and has submitted medical documentation supporting claims of psychological trauma and has expressed her willingness to testify under appropriate conditions. Hook her up to a lie detector, I say, and see what happens. I know they're not really admissible in court, but just for the hell of it, hook her up to a lie detector and see what happens. Well, the case is currently in the discovery phase, during which both sides exchange evidence. This is how the video comes into play, and the law says it's your constitutional right that whatever evidence is going to be used against you to prosecute you, you and your defense team must also be able to be in possession of that evidence, at least to view it, at least to have a copy of it, so that you can mount a proper defense against this accusation. So the case is currently in the discovery phase. They're exchanging evidence, they're conducting depositions, and they're preparing expert testimony. No criminal charges have been filed at all at this time, and the matter remains strictly within the civil legal arena. Civil, but you must remember that Sean P. Diddy Combs, or P. Diddy, his cases started out as civil as well until a grand jury decided that they were going to take it and make it into a criminal case. And there goes Diddy right there. He has been locked up since 2024 November, and he is still incarcerated, awaiting trial, and could not even get free, even after offering up a $50 million mansion and a whole lot of money in cash. Shannon Sharpe's attorneys are expected to file additional motions in the coming weeks, potentially including a countersuit for defamation and an effort to seal sensitive materials. A trial date has not been scheduled yet, but pre-trial hearings are expected to begin late summer. Observers anticipate that the outcome of this case will rest heavily on how the video is interpreted in court, the credibility of both parties under oath, and how jurors assess the power dynamics described in the complaint. Wow. Well, As the lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe continues to unfold, the stakes remain extraordinarily high for both parties. For the plaintiff, the case represents a pursuit of justice for alleged abuse at the hands of the influential figure. That is the quintessential, quote unquote, politically correct thing to say. In my opinion, as a commentator on YouTube, this platform, I think the stakes are high for the accuser because this represents a chance to get rich, a chance to get wealthy. This is life-changing money. You're talking $50 million. If she is awarded $50 million, it will change the trajectory of her namesake. Okay? So that is what that is about. And then she must do everything in her power to do so. Attorneys get a certain percentage of that money once that money is deemed to be paid off. So Tony Busby himself, her attorney, stands to become rich if he is not rich already, or add to his riches off of this suit alone. For Shannon Sharpe, this is a battle to protect his name, to save his career and future in both sports media and in public life. The decision not to view a piece of key evidence has raised legal and public scrutiny, potentially influencing how Shannon Sharpe's defense is received in the matter as it proceeds to trial. In a case that is defined by opposing interpretations of consent and power, the months ahead will likely determine not only the legal outcome, but the broader narrative surrounding one of sports media's most prominent voices. Will Shannon Sharpe be able to walk away from this shakedown? And I'll call it a shakedown because that's what I think it is. Will he be able to walk away from this unscathed? I don't think so. Even if a jury finds that he was set up, and there are many reasons here to find that he was set up, to include who the hell, if me and you were consensually having intercourse, who the hell recorded? Why was I being recorded and not told that I was being recorded? Also, the question remains, if this is a person that had sexually assaulted you before, why did you return repeatedly to be sexually assaulted again and again and again and have multiple non-consensual intercourse encounters? Should you not have ran to the police the first time or the second time or the third time? You know, there are so many questions to be asked. But again, is this about money or is this about justice? Because if this is about justice, make it a criminal case. But if it's about money, we'll keep it right where it's at a civil case. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Do you believe that Shannon Sharpe is guilty? Or do you believe that this is a shakedown? That's one question. The other question is, do you believe that Shannon Sharpe will walk away from this the winner, so to speak, as in she will not be rewarded any money? Or do you believe that he will walk away the loser, as in he will lose his public credibility, he will lose the money that the judge will say to give to her, and he will also lose his sports media and public figure life? I'll catch you in the comment section. I'm out. Peace.